we are here today because the new lightning lane system has now gone into place. So we've been trying it out this morning. I'm going to share with you what we did before we got to the parks and then how it goes when we're in the parks. So starting today, as of 7 days prior to your check-in date, if you are a resort guest staying at a Disney resort, you'll be able to purchase and plan your lightning lane multi-pass and single pass reservations. So lightning lane multi-pass is going to be the old Genie Plus. Lightning lane single pass is going to be the old individual attraction selections. So I will insert how we did that, but essentially at 7 a.m. I went on and I grabbed the lightning lane multi-pass for which park I was going to today. I'm only allowed to select it for one park for that day, and then I was able to go and select 3 different attractions from that park. So I was able to select 1 from tier 1 and 2 from tier 2. So the tiers are basically just you have your more popular attractions and then your lower popular attractions in terms of that. That's only going to be a thing for Magic Kingdom, Epcot, and Hollywood Studios. For Animal Kingdom, you won't have to worry about tiers. You can pick any attraction that you'd like. So 3 of those. Once we selected those, we were able to modify our time if we wanted to. I decided I didn't want to modify our time because we got times that we wanted. But if we did want to do that, we could basically select a time later in the day. Once we had that all set, then I went through and I purchased it. And let's say that I purchased this 7 days in advance of my check-in date, and I looked and I said, hey, I really want to modify this. I want to do another attraction. Not a big deal. You can click those 3 dots that are on the attraction box basically on your future plans, and you'll be able to make that change and modify it. So the first attraction that we have is at 9:05 for Pirates of the Caribbean. So we're gonna head over to Adventureland, check in for that, and then we have Haunted Mansion at 10:05 and Tiana's Bayou at 11:05. Once we check in for our Pirates of the Caribbean, we'll be able to make another lightning lane multi-pass reservation. When we got over to Pirates of the Caribbean, it was 9 o'clock, so we had a 9:05 reservation, and we could check in 5 minutes prior to that time. So I was able to tap in at 9 o'clock, and then I could make my next reservation. So I first grabbed Space Mountain at 2:35 because that looked like it was within the time that I would use, but I knew that I needed it kind of earlier because I'm going to have to leave a little early today. So I was looking around and I was modifying it, and I was able to grab a 10:35. So if you don't get to the time that you want, just go through and modify it and see if another time pops up. So because our next lightning lane is at 10:05, we have a little bit of time to kill. So what we're going to do during that time is we're just going to find some attractions that are in that area that have low wait times. So because we're going to be at Haunted Mansion, I came over to Fantasyland to check out some of these attractions. Small World was at a 10-minute wait, but it was actually only a 2-minute wait when I got on. So we did that one, and then we're going to head over to Little Mermaid. One thing to think about here today, Peter Pan's flight is closed because it has going through a refurbishment. It'll be back open in August, but that's going to be another attraction that we'll kind of have in the mix. What I would recommend is pick one of those attractions, like a Peter Pan that's normally more busy, a Jungle Cruise, something like that, to rope drop. So if you are staying at a Disney resort, head to Peter Pan because you'll be able to use your extra time in the morning for that, your extended park hours, and then if you were staying off property or you're an annual pass holder, head to Jungle Cruise first because that part of the park is going to open at 9 when the entire park opens for everyone. We're going to head over to Haunted Mansion because we're getting to the time where we're going to be able to check in starting at 10 o'clock. So again, because we have a 10:05 reservation, we can get in 5 minutes early. And the same thing goes, you do have that buffer on the other end, but it's actually an extra 15 minutes. So because this is going to end at 11:05, this time block that we have to redeem our lightning lane, we could actually get in up to 11:20. So something always to remember. Another thing to remember is if you have park hopper tickets, this is when you're going to be able to start making reservations for lightning lanes at other parks, excuse me. So we're going to just be in Magic Kingdom today, but we're going to check out what it looks like over at other parks. But once we're in the park, we'll be able to make reservations at any of the other 3 parks. Once I tapped into my reservation for Haunted Mansion, I went onto the tip board and I changed my park to one of the other parks to see how the park hopping process would work. So basically, it's going to come up with the park that you're in, but what you'll do is just change the park to say Epcot, and then look at what the lightning lane availability is there, and you can grab one of those if you have a park hopper ticket. One thing to make sure that you're doing while you're in the park is just basically keeping an eye on what times are. So you will have to be in the app a bit to check that, but it will help just to kind of know when you get to your next attraction what's going to be your lightning lane pick that you're going to go ahead and grab. It will just kind of help you to decide what are you going to go for standby and what are you going to save to go on a lightning lane.
Now, once you're in the park, the tiers of attractions are not going to matter anymore. You'll remember that we were able to get this Space Mountain, so a Tier A or Tier 1 attraction, after using our reservation for Pirates of the Caribbean, which is a Tier B or Tier 2 attraction. So those tiers are only going to matter when you're making your advanced reservations.
We're going to head over to Tiana's Bayou in Frontierland, and now's the time where we're going to start basically stacking, so getting times that are later on in the day. We're not going to do it the same way that we used to do it with Genie Plus, where you kind of had that waiting period and then you grab another one. We're just going to basically look for attractions that are later on in the day, because that's when we're going to get the best times at this point. Times are all going to be at that point, so we might be able to get a few attractions kind of lined up for later in the day. And during this time where we don't have those lightning lanes, we're going to grab lunch, we're going to check out some of the lower wait time attractions, maybe check out some of the shows that there are, parades, things like that.
If you're feeling overwhelmed with lightning lanes, it is totally understandable, but trust me, you have got this. Sit down with your family and figure out what are your top 3 attractions at each of the different parks that you want to experience. Then think about it as if you have 4 different slots. You have your 3 lightning lane multi-pass selections you can pick, and then you also have a rope drop. For rope drop, I would recommend Peter Pan or Jungle Cruise at Magic Kingdom, Remy's Ratatouille Adventure or Frozen Ever After at Epcot, and Mickey Minnie's Runaway Railway or Slinky Dog Dash at Disney's Hollywood Studios.
That is going to do it for our day checking out the new lightning lane system at Magic Kingdom. So this is going to be in place starting as of July 24th. So if you are coming to the parks at Walt Disney World after that date, this is going to be the system that you'll be using. If you have any questions, please be sure to leave a comment below. And of course, if you'd like some assistance planning your Disney vacation, be sure to reach out to KMB Travel. Thank you so much, and if you're not following already, be sure to hit that follow button.